What's going on, YouTube? Is Donnie B all day. So as you know, I started making a bunch of these little Seaxes. Well, I started to make a bunch. I ended up making 3 so far. 3.5 kind of, because I did a big one too. So you can see the differences. And I started thinking to myself, you know, I got to figure out how am I going to do a sheath for one of these. So I had an idea. I went to the store and I got me some fur. And I figured if this is like a Viking Seax, then I'm going to want so it'll probably be about that thick. I want a fur sheath for this thing. So that's what it's going to look like. And now I just have to figure out how I'm going to build it. So I got some 1/8 wood. And I'm going to fix this to the 1/8 wood. I'm going to build myself a little wooden sheath first. Boop. And then I'm going to tackle this. And I have to figure out how I want to do the belt loop and things like that. But I think for a Seax, nothing is better than fur, especially when you think why they were what they were. Okay, so you guys know the word berserk. When you go berserk, it means you go crazy. The word berserk is actually 2 words. It's bar zerka, and back then that was bar was bear and zerka was coat. They called them the bear coats. You look at the cartoons, Hagar the Horrible, right? The old Viking. He wore the big bear skin, and what happened is they would wear the bear skin thinking that it was going to give them the power of a bear, and they went into battle and they intimidated the snot out of people by just going absolutely ballistic, and so the berserkers were this wild, crazy bunch of fighters that scared the tar out of people. Berserk, and that's where the word berserk comes from. But I figured because of that, and because of the traditional bear, and I know this is a white fur and not a dark fur, but I wanted the white because I thought it would look cool with the black handle and the brass. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try and figure out how exactly to do one of these, and I think it'll be all right. I have the wood, I have the fur, and I got myself some double-sided like little sticky tape. I went to Michael's, I think, or Joann Fabrics or something, and I just went crazy buying a bunch of stuff. But I got this little tape right here. So what I want to do is I want to make 2 strips of wood that are going to be the thickness of this tape, right? So 2 pieces of wood that thick. Then I'm going to take 2 pieces of wood that wide right there. So at the widest point, which would be right here, I have to measure 2 pieces of wood, and then take those 2 strips and put a strip and a strip, and then the other piece of wood right there, glue it all on there, and then I can worry about getting this to the wood, and luckily for me, it's perfect size. So that's my plan. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start by making some, looks like 1/2 inch, some strips out of this. I'll put them together and we'll go from there. All right. Real quick. Just want to show you the technique I'm using. I'm going to put it down and do it, but I needed this in the camera. I'm putting my marker and my tape against the wood. I'm putting my marker against the tape and I'm sliding. And what that's doing is it's giving me a perfect depth. So that's it. And when I cut it, I know I'll have something this wide. I'm going to put it down and do that. All right, so let the saw wind down a little bit. So basically I have 2 pieces of this and I have a couple pieces of these. And so what now I'm going to do is I'm going to tape these to there and then tape that one to there, so I have a little box, right? Dropped one. All right, hold on a second. Oh, okay, so here it is. All right, I got a little box. Oop, I can see you all the way through. I can see you. And I don't have to worry about this tape coming undone and it getting loose on me, because I'm going to have this thing wrapped with the fur anyway, so it doesn't matter. The tape is going to hold. That's going to do its job. I'm pretty sure of it. You can see I'm not holding on to the bottom, just the top. I have no problems with that. The thing fits perfect, right? So there I have it, a nice wooden scabbard. And from here, now what I want to do is take my fur and I want to measure around, and I'm going to leave it overhanging a little bit, right? And there's a reason, because I want to sew it onto itself. That way, once I get it to this point and I sew it there, I can make it as tight as I want. I could really, really pull that and sew it on tight, just like this. That way, it won't go anywhere. I have to figure out what I'm going to do for a belt loop. I thought I would have more material than I did at the end, but I don't. So I'm just going to use this whole piece. But what I need to do is find something that I can sew onto here to use as a belt loop. I mean, this is something that I could always just do it like a tuck through, and that would be fine. But, you know, I don't know. I haven't figured that part out yet. I haven't gotten that far. I'm just right here. How cool is that? That's cool, man. So that's what's next on the list is look for stuff. And I know I have some leather upstairs. And what I might do is just sew a piece on there, loop it around, and make myself a little belt loop. Once that's sewn on, then I can, what I'll do is I'll use spray glue, some 3M spray glue, and I will glue this down there before I sew it, just for extra protection. I think it's going to be very cool. It already looks pretty cool. I love the way it sits in there with the fur. I think that's just a great look. And what I might use instead of regular thread is I might use a leather thread. Not 100% sure yet. Again, that's something I'll get to. But so far, so good. Actually, this would be reversed because the spine goes against the fold and the edge goes against the sew. We all know that. Well, we should know that. So that's how it is. It's got that nice little overhang right there. Man, that looks like the Abominable Snowman Johnson cover right there. Pretty cool. Pretty cool, man. All right, until the next piece. All right, so the belt loop. I just have this piece of rawhide sitting around, so what I'm doing is I'm giving it 2 punches, and on the top and the bottom, right? So this is going to be in the back, so I'm not worried about the color showing. Obviously, this is going to be a belt loop, so this is going against the body. This part will never be seen. So if you think having tan rawhide is going to make a difference, it's not. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a couple of leather knots right here and right here, and that's going to be my belt loop, and then I can get to going. And this black leather is what I'm going to lace this with, so I need to punch holes going all the way through this once I have it glued on, because then I need to be able to see exactly where I'm going to be punching them. So right now I'm just going to tie this on to that. All right, so front, back, belt loop, simple. That part is never going to be seen, so that's fine. That's all I needed it for. Now, what I need to do is take some of the spray glue, point it in a safe direction, and just spray glue the wood. And I want to coat the thing pretty good. So I really want this stuff to stick on there so it doesn't shift. And once I have a nice thick coating, then I'm just going to wrap the center at the height I want it, right around there, and massage it on. So that looks pretty good, and that's all I'm going to do is just rub it on there so it stays. Now I can spray this side, do the same thing. I'm going to get that edge in there, Maybe spray a little bit on the fabric. And then go to town. And you don't be shy using your spray glue. You can always buy a new bottle, but really put it on there, because the more it sticks, the better it is. So now I'm going to take this end and I'm going to just flap it over, and just like that, I have 99% of a sheath. Got some glue on my fingers. So all that's left is to sew these with that leather. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my leather punch and make some holes going up and down and all around this thing right here, just like that, and then lace in that black thread. Look at this. That right there, my friends, is a white fur sheath. All that's left is literally just putting in that black threading, and that's it. So I'm going to let this dry a bit, and you'll be able to see exactly that's how it sits. That's with the belt loop. Barrel. Look at that. How cool is that? Simple, guys. Simple. You got a knife. You don't have a sheath for it. Just make one. Make one. Doesn't have to be pretty. Just has to work. This one just happens to be pretty. I feel like, what's that chick's name? Paris Hilton. Oh, this is her sheath. But this is going to be a pretty cool costumey looking sheath. You know what I mean? It just having that fur, it's going to be pretty wild. You know, you're not going to see one of these every day. And I like that. Also, what I do is once everything's done, I'll take some of my spray glue, or I'll just take some regular super glue and I'll glue down these knots. I could even use wax, anything I want to do, but that'll get that done. So let me go sew some holes. All right, well, so that was crazy easy. It's not the most beautiful thing in the world, but I wanted it to be rustic and very, you know, kind of what they would use for materials, fur and rawhide and whatnot. And when you're talking about having a Seax, that's it right there. Now I have a sheath for my Seax. It's got some cool tie downs. The white and the black look really cool together. And hanging from a belt. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm undoing my pants right now. Let's see. I'll put it on backwards. I have it set up for a lefty, but I'm not going to take my belt all the way off to show you how it looks. Let's see. It takes me a while. I'm not used to getting undressed. My clothes just fall off. It's usually because of the smell. All right, so let's try and set you guys up over here. All right. So basically, this is what we're looking at. Back then, that's what they would have used. It would have been a squared off sheath, just like that. There wouldn't have been any crazy shaping done to it. And even if I wanted to cross draw, I can do that. And that's perfect. So the sheath absolutely works. If I was in the woods, then that would be fine. If I was in the winter in the woods, then that would be even better. It would blend right in. But that was as simple as it could be to make a sheath. And I didn't have to use fur. That's just what I chose to use for this project. If I wanted to wrap it in black leather, I could have done that and made just a really nice, or like a gator or snake skin type leather. I could have done that, and it would have looked crazy cool. I could have went with a brown fur or anything. But just to see how easy it was, you build yourself a little box. You can tape it together just like I did. Then you use some spray glue and you put on whatever material you're going to use. You sew on, before you glue it on, you sew yourself on a little belt loop, and voila. Then all you got to do is sew it together. That right there, that's going to stay on there forever. That's not going anywhere. That's a good little sheath. It's narrow, right? So it's going to hold nice and tight to the body. It sits in a perfect position right where I want it. So my hand is right there at the belt. Look at that. Viking Seax with a Viking Seax style sheath. That's pretty pretty decent. So now, if I'm working in the yard and I decide I want to use this to chop down some thorn bushes or some small brush, now I can put it on my belt and look a little goofy with all that big white fur. But just cool, you know what I mean? I can make, for some of my other knives, what I'm thinking now is use some black leather that I have sitting around that I can wrap nice and tight and make really cool leather ones for different sheaths. And if I wanted to cut this into shape, I could do that. You know, and if it's obviously this is a Seax, so the shape would be this way. But if I wanted to cut it into shape, I could. It's even easier if you have a straight spine, you know what I mean, and then cut it around like a drop point or something, because then it would come to here. I could leave this straight. Then I would just have to cut this and sew this down in that angle. It would be so freaking simple. And because it's wood on the inside, I don't have to worry about the knife tip jabbing me in the leg. Perfect. Guys, it's as simple as that. All right, that's it. Homemade sheath, the cheap and easy way. Hear it. But yeah, simple, simple, simple. I'm Donnie B all day. And until next video.